Hello, Renee Flamont here. You guys, a few things that we've talked about over the last few weeks kind of led me to today's topic. And I hear it from a lot of you that it's so frustrating because within your own cycle of life, your family, your friends, your close loved ones, they've enabled your narcissist throughout the years. Not even meaning to, not with ill intent, not trying to go against you. But it sounds a lot like this. In a family, it sounds a lot like this. You have people that maybe don't get along. Say it's siblings, okay? And the one sibling is telling the parent. Well, the parent, it's very natural. And I know it can be hurtful, but you have to remember, it's very natural for a parent to say, oh, kids fight, or get along with each other, or work it out, or don't tell me anymore. I'm sick of hearing you guys fight. How would the parent know that one of those siblings is dysfunctional to the point of having narcissistic personality disorder and believe the other sibling? How would they know? They're both their children, right? It's both their children. And some of you may say, well, I have a narcissistic parent and they knew what they were doing, and I have a narcissistic brother and they were both against me. Those places do exist. Yes, they do. But what I'm trying to tell you is that there are very many places that exist where the parent just does not know better. They really don't know better. You know how little this disorder is known. So if somebody's not been through it or looked it up or been schooled upon the topic, they don't understand that what you're going to them with regarding what was done to you, they don't realize the severity of it. They don't want to think about their child bestowing evil upon their other child. So of course they're going to fluff it off and say, right? But that's what happens. You're enabling the narcissist. So they don't suffer consequences. Or if they do, oftentimes it sounds like this. You're both grounded till you work it out. And you know you're the person that the meanness was bestowed upon, and you're punished also. That stings. That's happened to many of you as well. And I want you to understand that when they're enabling the narcissist this way, I truly don't think it's intentional. Unless, like I said, you have a completely dysfunctional narcissistic parent and they were meaning it. I want you to understand, though, that in many cases, they just didn't know how to deal with a person like that. Or the parent or guardian or wherever the person fits into your life doesn't want to shake the boat with the narcissist and yell at them too much, or because they're going to blow up at them, or they're going to stop talking to them, or they're going to be rageful, right? So what do? They let it go, and they file it under siblings fight. Siblings fight. Siblings do fight. Cousins, friends, family friends, whatever the situation. I happen to pick siblings as an example, but whatever your example is that you can think of, that's an adult's go-to move, is to minimize the fighting and try to make it go away. Especially, like, think of our age, like I'm 55 years old. Back in the old days of the 70s, your parents didn't sit down and ask you about your feelings. They just wanted peace and harmony in the family. Everyone works hard. Let's just have a functioning household. Nowadays, children at the age of 10 are brought to therapy to talk about their feelings. So yes, we've come a long way. But back then, they were latchkey kids going home, both parents were working. And they did it by the seat of their pants. You see all the memes about kids from the 70s. I was born in 67. So I identify with all of those things. Well, part of that was that you might not have been taken seriously by a family member when you tried to explain what was happening to you. I was just talking to somebody with a narcissistic brother. So this is what made me think of this. And everything we've discussed in the last few weeks. Because you feel invalidated. There's that validation again. And that sometimes is more painful than what the evil the person bestowed upon you. You want the person you're going to believe you. You want to be believed. You don't want to think you're going nuts. You don't want to be raised to say, oh, you're too sensitive, or you overthink everything. No, I want to be validated, and I want you to recognize what's happening. The enabling being in the family or friend circle, I mean by people close, that's, I think, a very natural thing to occur. And as the narcissist gets older and goes out into life, well, it's already too late. They've never experienced any real consequence. Nobody ever sat down and said, do you understand what you did was wrong? Do you understand how it might have made that person feel? How do you even reconcile that within your own brain? Like, that's how I would say something if I saw my daughter doing something mean to somebody. She's an only child, so there's no sibling example, which I've never seen my daughter do something mean, but I certainly would sit down and have a minimum 5-hour chat. I would absolutely not shut up until I understood. Funny thing is, a narcissist, when approached in that way, doesn't know why they did anything either, and all they'll do is come up with reasons why they were entitled to behave that way, and then you get more aggravated because it further invalidates you as being oversensitive, and it was a joke, and they said it was... Things aren't jokes unless both people are laughing. Hurting someone's feelings or making them feel bad or being mean to them, that's not ever funny. Yay. They out of their minds, but they'll use every excuse and lie in the book to defend their position of why they did that to you. And then it gets swept under the carpet and never regarded as anything serious. And I'm sorry if that's happened to you. It's happened to many of you, I know, because I talk to you. And I'm really sorry. I just don't want you to hold on to a lot of anger and hatred if it did happen in your family, because your parent might have been doing the best that they can and they might not have done it intentionally. You have to remember, they're both the parent's child. So siblingdom isn't the same as mother-daughter, father-son love, right? Siblings, I know plenty of siblings that don't talk to each other. But parent to child, they'll generally forgive anything. And they don't want to see their own child as dysfunctional or disordered. They're probably going to even resist that, being told that. And they're just going to want to remember it as, normal sibling fighting. Like, say you go and you try to explain it now. Well, this is what I've learned, and I just want you to understand the blah, blah, blah. They're just going to remember it as normal sibling fighting and chalk it off to you being too sensitive. And then you're invalidated. It's really not a nice thing to have happened if your family, close friend circle, whatever life, enabled a narcissist in your life that then took things out on you. You were their target. It can be really frustrating. The only thing I can tell you is seek your validation within yourself. You know the truth of what happened to you. If you've tried to explain it and it wasn't well received, or you found some resistance, I just want you to not be frustrated with that, and I want you to understand where they're coming from. Nobody likes to think they did something wrong or fell short in an area when they look back on their lives, right? And I just think that as people now, we grow up, we learn about this. I think we have enough within ourselves to pull us up out of that and say, you know what, they did the best they could. They didn't know it was happening. They didn't know how bad it was. You probably didn't know how bad it was. You probably just thought, wow, this sibling is a real doozy. Friend of the family, cousin, whatever your situation is that you're thinking about. But I'm thinking about people that are in your life for a long time. Even your partner of your narcissist partner, their families have enabled them. You probably look at that, and that person's probably never been in really big trouble their whole life. And the bad relationship they have with their siblings is because they were horrible to that sibling. And the parent maybe let them get away with everything. They were either like the Eddie Haskell type, which, is the type that, sucks up to the adult parental figure in the household, or they were the type that just got away with murder, got away with everything, charmed the person, made it look like it wasn't that big of a deal, or, that can be very frustrating to be in the middle of that kind of thing. And I just, again, want to mention to you, you are valid in knowing what this person can dish out in terms of ill behavior. And whether or not their family recognizes it, I guess it's no longer our concern, is it? as long as you know within yourself what the truth is and you've made peace with it and you've moved on from it, let that be the final door that you shut. Don't carry it with you and wait for the family to understand, or the circle of friends that's close to you, or whatever you are thinking of right now. They may never understand. You may have a business with someone, it might be a business partner, and you suddenly realize, wow, they've been manipulating me for 20 years, and you're trying to tell the rest of the people in the company and they don't believe you. They might not see it. They might have enabled this person the whole time. Because remember, the narcissist is being manipulative and trying to get everything that they want. So they've manipulated the situation and the people to believe what they want them to see. I want you to understand this because I don't want you to get frustrated, and I want you to be able to move past it, because you can't change the past. And chin up and just know that you are valid and you are heard. But enabling can sometimes be part of the family.